Now, things change very quickly whenever they realize that. But as we read the Gospel of John, we read the New Testament, we discover that so many people in the New Testament time looked at Jesus, but then rejected Him. He made statements like, I and the Father are one. If you have seen me, you've seen the Father. Now, I know there's something about it that whenever you look at me, you're seeing some of my dad. Drives my mom crazy. Yes, Mom, if you're watching this, you know that it drives you crazy. Why? Because my mannerisms are just like my dad's. It's funny that we've been noticing that Greenlee's words are more and more like Diana's. Which is sweet, because I love my wife. I don't love my daughter. And if my daughter grows up to be like my wife, I'll be happy. If my son grows up to be like me, that'll make me happy too. And that's just the idea with Jesus, that although He is incarnate God, in other words, God made flesh, if you want to know what the Father is like, look at Jesus. Because the gestures and the things that He does is exactly what He saw His Father doing. That should go as a warning to anyone that has kids, because if they see you doing it, they're going to do it too, aren't they, right? But Jesus was the perfect Son who perfectly imitated the Father. Now, this is the beginning of a series, and I know those are always a little bit difficult. But as Christmas approaches, I really want to focus on Jesus. Who is Jesus? You know that that's how the world works, that it's not what you know, but it's who you know. Do you realize that heaven works the same way? You can have all the knowledge of the world, but if you don't know the right person on the inside, you're not getting in. So what does that mean? Who's the right person to know on the inside? Who is it? Jesus. That's right, Jesus. If you know Jesus, and not just know about Him, but know Him. Remember the difference between informational knowledge and relational knowledge. Informational knowledge tells me that our president, Barack Obama, used to be nicknamed Barry. Used to go by the name that I go by. But that's not my nickname, that's my actual name. But just because I have some interesting, curious facts about someone does not mean that I know them. If you went and talked to him and said, "Do you know Barry Parker?" No, I've never met him. He wouldn't know. It's not like that I call him on the phone and give him advice how to run the country. I don't. Some days I'd like to, but I don't. We need to respect him. He is our president. I don't have to agree with everything he says or does, but I do need to respect him. But think about this. Do you know God? Do you talk to Him on a regular basis? I hope that you're not calling God up in prayer to let Him know how to run the universe, because I think He knows a little bit more about it than you or me. But He sure would like to hear from you. But if you want to know God the Father, the only name under heaven given to us by which we may be saved is Jesus. There's no other way. He's the right one on the inside. And those who put their faith in Him, He gives them the right to become children of God. So how about you today? Do you know Jesus? Not just know about Jesus. I mean, we're going to celebrate His birthday next month. I think on the 25th, is it, that we normally do that? What day was He born? I don't know. There's a good chance it was the 25th. 1 in 365 chances. I guess 366 if it was a leap year. But know this. Knowing stuff about Jesus is not the same thing as knowing Jesus. Think about biblical knowing like this. When Adam knew Eve, what was the result?
Cain.
Baby. When we know God, what is the result? a baby. We're born again. Do you know God? We're going to sing an invitation hymn now. I'm hoping that you would consider this and that you would treat Jesus as if He is God, not only because He is God, but because to know God, the only way to know Him is through Jesus. And it doesn't matter so much whether you're going to get your oil changed in a few minutes or not about knowing Jesus. But it does mean where you will spend eternity based on that knowledge. But know that there's a difference between informational knowledge and a saving knowledge. A saving knowledge is a relational knowledge, or that we know Him, that we trust Him. Let's stand and sing number
300, please.
Number 300.